Hey everybody, it's Matt from the house, and in this video we're going to show you the difference between a standard skate truck and a longboard specific truck. Let's check these things out. Alright, so right off the bat, we do have a few different kinds of trucks when it comes to skateboards and longboards and cruisers and everything, and it does make a big difference. So right off the bat, your standard skateboard truck, we've got your base plate, we've got your hanger, we've got the axle, the kingpin and the bushings, and then your pivot cup. And that's kind of the main things that you want to look at when it comes to a skate truck, is those main parts of the truck. And it's pretty easy. With your truck, you basically, with all the angles that they have this thing set at, you push down on one side and it actually causes the truck not just to go like this, but it actually shifts a little bit too. So you're actually not just pushing straight down on your truck. Your truck does actually, the axle actually shifts like this, and that's how you get your turn. Pretty easy. So it's not, again, not just going straight down, but we're actually kind of going on an angle. And that's what all of this geometry is. And every single truck has a little bit different, angles, and that kind of tells you how the truck's going to turn. Also tells you about its stability too. When we get into a little bit more of a longboard or, cruiser style truck, these trucks obviously have all the same things. You have your base plate, we have the bushings, we have the hanger, the axle, the pivot cup, but it looks like it's actually backwards. So when we actually set these trucks like this, we are actually looking at the nut on this one for the kingpin, and on this one we're looking at the nut for the kingpin. However, this truck is actually backwards. So the biggest difference is that these are built for stability. If you think you're out, you're doing your standard skateboarding, flipping your board, jumping down stuff, you want stability. Obviously you want that truck to be able to turn really well too, but that's not as important as the stability is of the truck. Likewise, when we get into a truck like this, we're probably just out cruising around, the board's really not leaving the ground, and we really want to get good turn out of our truck, and that's what this is built for. So why it looks backwards is basically, you look at a standard truck, you actually have the hanger and the pivot cup here, that goes up, and then the kingpin and the nut on the kingpin where you adjust your tightness, that goes up here. So basically, this is your angle on your hanger and on your kingpin. Now, when you look at a longboard truck, we still have the hanger and we still have the pivot cup here, but you'll notice pivot cup, nut are on opposite sides. This one, the pivot cup and the nut are on the same side. And the reason is we still have that hanger, this piece, but it's at a much bigger angle. So the kingpin now has to actually go through the hanger, and that's where you get that extra carve out of. So when you actually push down on this truck, since the angle of the hanger is actually, you can actually look at the two right here side by side, you can actually see that this hanger goes more straight up and down, whereas this one is a very big increased angle. Some of the trucks, they do 45, 50, it just depends on the truck itself. Nice thing with a lot of these trucks as well is you can actually take this hanger and flip it over, and you actually get a different angle, so you can actually adjust how much your truck carves. But again, it's more about carving and turning, and you get that increased turn than it is about stability. They're still stable, and then there's certain things that you can do with the bushings. You can actually make harder bushings, different shaped bushings can add stability or increase turn. Likewise with this truck too, we can get softer bushings to increase our turn. But overall, this thing is built for stability. And some people like to have these on their cruisers or their longboards because they just want to go out. They're not really carving a lot. They're just going out and cruising. But for the most part, if you want to get a really good carve, that's where you want to do this longboard truck. And that's why it looks like it's backwards too, is again, it's just about that increased angle of the hanger. So essentially they are the same trucks, it's just about the angles that make them different and make them do two different things. All right, well, thanks for checking out our video on the difference between your standard skate truck and your longboard or cruiser style truck for carving. If you've got any questions about these or any of the other trucks we've got on our website, thehouse.com, leave us some comments down below. We're on there every single day trying to answer your questions. We want to make sure we get you into some rad gear, but we want to make sure that we're getting you the right gear as well. Like, subscribe, make sure to get that bell on too so you can find out when all their new videos drop. And yeah, whether you're out flipping your board around and jumping down things, or you're just out cruising and carving as hard as you can like you're surfing the streets, get out and ride, because any day of riding is a good day of riding.